Good morning, girls. I thought I would jump on while I went to run at the track and it is closed for service. So that is a sign I'm not supposed to be running today. So I thought I would jump on here and I would like to start making a little ritual to get to know everybody in this group, because I notice how many people in this group that just don't engage, and I really would love to get to know everybody to help the community become more engaging, for people to get to know each other, and for you to understand me a little bit more, and for me to get to know you a little bit better. So I thought it would be really fun to start doing this sort of most days, to jump on here and just have a nice chat in the mornings. For those of you who are able to join live, to jump on as well, get to know you, pop questions in if you need advice or tips or anything in the process. While we're on the live, then you can feel free to do that. And I thought I would just share a little bit about my story with you. I'm thinking I might just find a little area that's not so glary in my eyeballs. Maybe over here is going to be better. So, okay, where shall I start? So, if you're catching the replay, please feel free to comment below. So, my fitness journey started a very long time ago. I was probably around, shall we say, 16, 17. So basically it all started from, we had this school day where everyone does it wasn't a sports day, it's called Athon Day. I still don't know what that is, but for some reason I decided to join this group that would do a kickboxing class, and it was a DVD with Jeanette Jenkins, and we just did that for the morning, and it was so much fun. The teacher ended up burning the DVD for me, and I went home and I would do this DVD every single day because it was so much fun. And from that moment onwards, these are just my memories. Who knows if it actually started a lot sooner than that, but this is just what I remember. So then from that moment of having done that DVD, and I was sort of addicted to it after that because I just loved the high intensity. I just loved moving and sweating and having fun with cool music. And then after that, I started working out in my bedroom all the time. On my bed, doing push-ups and dips, and on the floor and using the chairs, and I had quite a big bedroom, so I did have the space to run around and do lots of exercise. And then one year, I think it was the year I started doing that sort of thing, my mum ended up getting me a gym membership for me for Christmas, or maybe it was my birthday. But it was the coolest present ever because she was probably just sick of me working out in my room. But I was really curious on what the hell a gym would be like. And so I had been before with my grandma and with my dad before, just to sort of follow them around, but I'd never actually been for myself. So then when I first started, the guy in the gym, Grant, he was like a grandpa to me, and he was the sweetest person ever, and he was really encouraging and was always saying to me how strong I was, how I was, well, I really was not back then at all, but the encouragement was really nice, maybe because he was used to teaching like an older class or something like that, which was mainly the generation of the gym that I went to. And he really encouraged me to start studying fitness. So then I went on to do a mini course where I ended up doing a little work experience at that gym, and he threw me in the deep end and asked me to take some classes, which was so much fun, and I absolutely loved doing it. And then from that moment onwards, I was just like, yep, I'm going to do this. So when I finish school, I'm going to be a personal trainer, I'm going to teach classes, it's going to be lots of fun, I get to be fit while I work. And that was probably the most standout point for me at that time, was being able to get paid to do something that's really fun and I get to get fit at the same time. So then I did actually want to be a paramedic or a nurse, and I got into nursing, and I ended up choosing to do the personal training course instead. So I studied personal training, where I met one of my first ever coaches who sort of did actually get me into running. His name was David, and I trained with him 5 or 6 days a week throughout the year while I was studying. So that was where my real base strength started developing. and we would train at 6 o'clock every morning in the TAFE gym before we started class. It was amazing. I think I got used to training with men from that point onwards, which was a real benefit for me, because I didn't realise my own strength. I would just try and do whatever I would be told to do. So then that was 1 year, and then I got my first job in a gym where I used to take deep water aqua classes, some other ab classes, and just a couple of clients, and I would just clean the gym. And that was where I met my sprint coach, Udama. And so I ended up, this is a really cool story when it comes to fate and destiny and all of that sort of thing. So if you're catching the replay and you're following along, comment below, because it's always fun hearing people's stories. So I ended up being told by one of the trainers, I think I must have been doing box jumps or something, and he goes, "Have you ever tried running?" And I said, I've never really thought much about it, but it sounds fun. I did it at school and I was really good at it. And he said, "There's an Olympian who comes to this gym. I'll introduce you to him next time he comes." And I remember one day I was walking to my car. I think I just finished my shift, and Udama and his brother walked past me, and I sort of caught eyes with them, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think that's them. And then when I went back for my shift later on, because I used to do split shifts, Gabe, who was the guy who introduced me, he's like, "Oh, so this is Udama, this is Chloe." And he kind of looked at me up and down, and he's like, "How old are you?" I was like, 19. He's like, "Okay. And how tall are you?" "And so you want to run?" "Yep." "So you want to train with me?" "Yep." "Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow then." And that is exactly how it started. It was that simple. "I'll see you tomorrow." And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to be training with an Olympian. And that is where it all started. So then from then on, we started training 8 to 10 p.m. every single night, 5 days a week, while I was working at the gym because of the hours I worked. That's when we started. And so I ended up stopping working at that gym. I got a job an hour and a bit further away from where I was currently working. And so I ended up parting ways with Udama, because the distance to be travelled for training was just going to be far too long. And so I didn't really give any thought to it. I thought, oh well, that was fun while it lasted, and then we parted ways. So this is where the story starts getting really interesting, if you're still following along. So then maybe 3-4 months later, I'd been working in the gym down south, which is an hour away from where I was working. I was walking to my car, and all of a sudden I see Udama next to my car. He had no idea it was my car, and turns out he got a job next door to the gym that I was working in. Like, how coincidental could that have happened? You know, that is what I call fate. So when I realised that he'd got the job there, and we started chatting, and I thought, well shit, we better start training again, because that's clearly a sign that we're supposed to be training together. And so I started training with him again, and it's been 7 years that he's been my coach now, and it's been the best 7 years ever. So I decided, I think I worked at that gym for about 1.5 years before I had the random decision that I wanted to train full time and that I wanted to go to the Olympics. And I have no idea where these thoughts came from, but they were there and they were very strong. And I knew that I would regret it if I didn't quit my job, and that if I didn't try and train full time. And I actually had spoken to someone who said that that was the best advice that they could give, and that was to train full time, because the improvements that you'll see would be absolutely incredible. And so I think it was the next day I decided, nope, I'm not going to work here anymore. I want to focus on myself and my training. And so that's what I did, and it was tough. People laughing at you over your goals, people thinking that you're absolutely crazy, and people saying to your face, that's a bit of a reach, isn't it, for that dream, sort of thing. I didn't really think much of it at the time. I just didn't understand why someone would say that to your face. And so I just kept on going. I improved so much by working full-time with Udama, and it was so much fun. It was very mentally challenging, and through all of the training that I actually did over those years with Udemy shaped me so much in more than just a physical way, but in the mental side, realizing how much my thoughts and my like my visualization and my mindfulness could all really control my outcome, and how much more mental it was than the physical, and how some sessions we would spend 3 hours just talking over doing any sort of physical work, and he would say, this is more important because if we can get this right, then your physical will improve. And at the time, sometimes it was quite confusing because I didn't understand why we would be doing something sitting down talking over sweating and running and all of that sort of thing. And now this is exactly what I like to teach, because the effect that it really had on me was just so intense that I know the power of it, and I want to be able to teach it to everybody else as well. And so I did not achieve my goal, and you know what? I don't even care anymore. I got pregnant in 2013, I'm pretty sure it was, and that was a big surprise for me, and I was really scared because I didn't know if I would ever be able to run again after having a kid, or if I would be able to continue training when I was pregnant. There was so many new variables to think about, moving to France while I was pregnant. But the one person who believed in me the whole time was my coach. And he said to me, you could come back fitter and stronger after you have a kid. I'm just glad that you are having a baby, because this is exactly what you need in your life right now. You need purpose. And I didn't quite understand what he meant at the time. And then after I had Ollie, that's exactly what I understood what he meant by that. And it was having purpose and having drive and having a reason that you want to feel amazing, and a reason that you want to do well for somebody else rather than just yourself, or it just gives you that different sense of completion, which is exactly what I think I'd actually been looking for the whole time. And so now the way I train, even though I didn't achieve my goal, I have been getting so much more satisfaction in the last probably 3 years of training than I have ever before, of just focusing on myself and focusing on challenging my mind. And if I put my mind to it, watching what happens if I just continue day after day. And if I have a little test of my mind and I push forwards with it, what could actually happen if I'm strong enough to push through that? And then I can teach it to you girls. So all of these things have really helped shape and develop me into who I am as a trainer, as a coach, just as a person in general. And this is exactly why I want to come on here and share my little story with you, because it is quite unique, and it's just really cool to remember and to go back through the process of how I got here. And even though I didn't get where I wanted in the sporting world, that the journey was the most important part, which in that process I did not understand that the journey was the most important part until a couple of years ago when I moved here, and I realized how amazing the journey really is if you actually pay attention to the journey. So if you are catching the replay, please comment below and engage with me throughout the story. Let me know about you. Feel free to even post a little video or a post about yourself in the group, because I would love you to start connecting with me a little bit more and connecting with the other girls inside of the group, so we can start building a real community base in here. I would love people to be able to connect a little bit more, build friendships, motivate and inspire each other. It doesn't always have to come from me. Maybe you could be sharing something that might inspire somebody else. So feel free to just be yourself in here. Get to know me. I would love to get to know you. And I am going to, while I'm here, I might even do some Pilates. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed my little story. And I think I'll jump on here every second day or something like that. Comment below if you would like that. And I will speak to you on the other side. Bye!